Y'all are gonna have to bear with me today. This is the 7th video I've recorded today, which is a lot. Okay, that's a lot. I'm cramming because I'm gonna be away for the holidays. So I am cramming so much into today. By the time you see this, it'll probably have been like a week and a half to 2 weeks before I recorded this. So, or after I recorded. You get what I'm saying, right? Maybe you don't. I don't know. Hey, last episode, we talked about, well, we figured this area out to some extent. Lisa is still, well, we know that she's gonna lock in next because we know that she's a professor. And we're pretty sure that Mary Beth is gonna lock in as a musician. Just a little bit of a peculiar scenario with her. But I think that what is going to come next here is Guy Hudson's infidelities. And I think that's where we're just gonna hop in today, to be honest with you. Because we have our confidential company records that were dropped off to us. And there is quite a lot for us to unpack from this. I think I want to start here because we know that there's a chunk of people, secretaries, that Guy Hudson had some sexual relations with. We know that Joanna Robertson turns into Joanna Fellows. So I kind of want to look up some of these people. So Juliet McCullen, we're just going to also check the periodicals here. And I'm just going to scan a couple of these names just for me to be confident that maybe there's some information about them somewhere. I'm not expecting too much on, I don't think that all of them are going to have something, but I think there's a chance that one or two of them could end up. But I think we need to get to where Guy Hudson replaces Ernest Madsen. Okay. Christine Farrow hired. Joanna Robertson no longer listed, but Joanne Fellows. Okay. Joanna Fellows and Beth Knox no longer employed. Christine Farrow no longer listed amongst the secretaries, but a Christine Garland has been hired. Okay. That's good. We know that she gets married. So Christine Farrow, Christine Garland, Butler County Times, the Antonellis. Okay, let's read you. Antonelli's is an Italian restaurant. It has been in Butler County Times twice, the most recent time when it was closed in 1992. The owner, Rochelle Zimmer, sold the land the building was on, and at the time of the article, she was unsure if the restaurant would move. Many years before that, there's a puff piece from Valentine's Day 1978 that asked recently married residents of Butler County how they met. Christine Garland responded she and her husband Steve, who was a chef at Antonelli's, met years ago when she delivered produce from her mother's farm. Steve used to work extra hours just to be there during her deliveries. Although they grew apart when the restaurant switched suppliers, they reconnected by chance and eloped at the end of the year. Now she has a bun in the oven and they're both working as much as they can. She's a secretary and went back to delivering produce on the weekends, trying to save up money to move to Boston. Your bun in the oven is Guy Hudson's kid. I just have a sad realization for you. Rochelle Zimmer. Rochelle and her husband Mark Zimmer have a few mentions in the Butler County Times. Local business owners. Mark was also mentioned in the Butler County Times when he was sued by Steve Garland. Okay. Steve, you dog. Also, hold on. They owned a local store called Bookmarks. There's so much for me to explore here. Start with this, Bookmarks. We don't know anything about Bookmarks. Come back to here, Bookmarks appeared in the Butler County Times multiple times. None of it seems relevant to your current search, though Lauren Roottrees did do a book signing. Okay, don't really care about Bookmarks then. But I do care about Steve Garland, man. Steve Garland feels like an important dude. Mentioned in a couple articles. First was about how he met his wife Christine when he worked at Antonelli's. Second is from months later, in September of 1978, a listing for his weekend cooking classes, Gourmet for the Groovy. Blurb mentions he's been given lessons from his home kitchen so that he can keep an eye on his son. The third is from 1991, titled Local Author Sued by Former Butler County Resident. It seemed that a local author by the name of Mark Zimmer was sued by Garland after Garland saw Zimmer promoting his book Kitchen Tales on television. Recipe book partially plagiarized from the recipes that Steve Garland would give his students during his cooking lessons. Mentions that although recipes are hard to copyright, Garland accompanied each recipe with a short fiction about how he learned it. usually doubled as a way to remember certain ingredients. Garland's bean salad, for example, involved making a trade with a gnome for some magic beans. These stories were found word for word in Zimmer's cookbook. Okay. I gotta know more about Kitchen Tales. So this is Mark Zimmer Public Library. Mark Zimmer Kitchen Tales. Out of print, no copies available. Re-released as Garnishing the Truth. Okay. Sure. Re-released as Garnishing the Truth. So you're telling me that Garnishing the Truth is not in here, though. How about a spider search? Cookbook credited to Garland and Zimmer, released in 1994. It's going to be under Garland in there. Actually quite successful after the duo appeared to promote it on daytime television. Multiple printings since. Okay, so you're actually potentially Steve Garland as the main writer on this? Yeah. Introduction to this book is a series of acknowledgments from Steve. The first is, Christine, thank you for everything. Your support means the world to me. You are the apple of my eye. The second, to James and Robert. You're becoming amazing men and incredible chefs. I guess I'm a good teacher. Final is to Mark Zimmer. You prove my storytelling approach to recipes could be popular. Without you, this book doesn't exist. This is a peculiarly heartwarming finish. Also a foreword by Mark Zimmer. I first met Steve in 1978 when he taught a cooking class. Next time I saw him was over a decade later when he was suing me for stealing his recipes. Yes, really? So you might wonder what I'm doing in this introduction. Well, it turns out Steve and I had more in common than we thought. Instead of settling it in court, we settled it at McCarran's Brewhouse over a game of darts. By the end of the game, he and I agreed we'd both rather make a ton of money than spend a ton of money on lawyers. Pretty rare to meet your best friend so late in life, but when I decided to retire, I moved to Boston just so we could hang out. If you're browsing this book in a bookstore, please buy our book. We need more money for when the free beer runs out. Okay, these guys are kind of based. I like them. McCarran's Brewhouse, pub in Boston. They have a website. On the site, list of famous people who've had a drink there, including former president of the United States, not of the Roottrees Company, Kennedy. Also a few listings of television shows and books that have mentioned McCarran's. We're going to take a look at that in the periodicals in a second. One of them is Garnishing the Truth, which the site has to say this. Local and regular Stevie G wrote a book about food. We prefer cocktails, but he gave us a shout out and we ain't going to say no to the press. Go grab a bite at his kids' joint, Friday, and swing by to meet him for a drink. Okay, start me friggin' here. Nothing. Okay, that's great news. Send me to Friday. Fairly popular restaurant in Boston. They don't have a website, but many locals seem to mention them in various places. We need a Boston Times magazine. One more in-depth review explains it's not a full restaurant, just a front door, very small interior with a window, also known as a ghost restaurant, I believe. Unusually, the restaurant only serves vegetables, but a lot of reviews say that in spite of that, it's delicious. Find a short story about it listed on a website called My Boston Homepage. Whoever runs the page seems to just link to random sites related to Boston, tell personal anecdotes, give relatively short opinions, very unorganized. I has this to say about Friday. Wicked overrated. I saw it in Chef's Signature. That's a magazine. So I went there. There was a huge line. They didn't have a single meat dish. What's even the point? Incredible. Incredible. I have to search it first. Chef's Signature. Magazine related to food and trendy restaurants. Okay. Now we're in, because now we go back to Friday. Thank you for the JPEG. Covered Friday less than a year ago, right around the time you're doing your initial investigation. Article in Chef's Signature tends to focus on a restaurant. And like the magazine's name implies, each restaurant lists the one main dish the head chef is known for. Friday's signature is the samosa cone. Oh, please show me the samosa cone. Can a vegetarian diet be trendy? I suppose in 1998 this was a big deal. In some ways, this is just the Roottrees are dead finding another controversial thing to talk about, like vegetarianism. I basically was vegetarian for like 5 years. It was awesome. It's very easy to do, and I loved every second of it. James and Robert Garland. Important. Because they are Guy Hudson's kids. Hate to see it. Okay. According to the article, two brothers own a small walk-up window in Boston called Friday. Play on the tie-dye shirts the servers wear exclusively serves vegetarian dishes. Most of the offerings heavily inspired by powerful spices found in Thai and Indian food, signature being the samosa cone, Resembles a traditional ice cream complete with waffle pattern. Instead contains fried potatoes, pureed peas, carrots, and a special ginger-based sauce. Sounds kind of sick. Robert, 3 years younger than James, jokes that although the age difference has left him delegated to wear the sous chef jacket, he doesn't mind. As a result, James answers most of the interview's questions. James credits his love for food and his culinary skills to his upbringing. Most kids hate vegetables, but they don't have parents like we did. My father was a chef. My mother grew up on a farm that supplied his restaurant. That's how they met. I don't have any memories from the farm or anything like that since we moved here before I could talk. But they told me stories. My dad's a great storyteller. Even wrote a book that partially helped fund Fry Die. When we moved, they were looking to open their restaurant together. Unfortunately, they never got it off the ground. Line cook gig ended up being less than temporary than he had hoped. She had to go back to work as a secretary. Before we were old enough to go to school, we spent our days with my aunts. In the diner where he worked, my dad had no room for experimenting, so he'd exercise his skills at home on a day off. Always go shopping, cook as a family on those days, even though we were hyper kids running around causing a ruckus. Those were some of my family's favorite memories since we were all together. Always had the eye for the best vegetables, did her best to pass that on. According to the article, their parents, now retired, visit Fry Die often. Even has a signature dessert, the Sistine Apple. Apple pie has always been my mom's favorite. My dad always had this stupid line he used to make to her laugh involving apple pie. Most people realize it's a Sistine Chapel pun and assume that's all there is to it, but it's actually secretly named after them, sort of? What? Okay, Sistine Apple. Bro, what the hell are you talking about? Sistine Apple? Named after them somehow. Okay, weird. Very weird. I want to take a look at this, because if you have 2 kids, I don't think this would have been your final affair, so I think that it has to be you guys. Which makes... Who's the younger of the 2? Younger is Robert, 3 years younger than James. So this is... somebody Garland, right? Yeah, and then James Garland is here. James Garland. This is Robert Garland. Both of you are chefs. And then let's see who's where in this picture. Where's the Sue jacket? That would be red then. So Robert wears the Sue jacket. So Robert is you. You are you. Okay? And then your father is... Fry Die is Steve Garland. So you're Steve. Steven, sure. And then you end up... How do we get here? This we went down a whole frickin' journey to get here. So that's Stevie G, Christine Garland, who used to be Christine friggin' Farrow. Christine Farrow. So you are Christine Farrow, and those are not your kids. And you were a secretary. And we don't have a picture of you, which is a tough one. Let's do a quick periodicals, Christine Farrow search. Christine Garland came up though, because that's the Antonellis. Let's try to search Antonellis. I also want to search Rochelle Zimmer. So Antonellis, large number of them. Not because it's a chain, just a common name for Italian restaurants. Good point. Rochelle Zimmer. Who are you? Rochelle Zimmer, nothing. Periodicals, Rochelle Zimmer. That's how we got to Mark Zimmer. Yep, okay. Understood, understood. I don't think I care anymore, to be honest with you. But we do need photos of these people. Christine Farrow. We also know Beth Knox. Beth Knox, sorry, this is in reverse order. Beth Knox 50-year work anniversary bonus. What the hell? She worked there for 1,000 years. It's very interesting. Beth Knox. Absolutely nothing for her. She's probably not important, right? What happens in 78 to 79? Edward Roottree, Elizabeth Cravensworth. Raffertoon's now listed as office staff. Christine Garland no longer working there. I mean, this is like prime Guy Hudson era, so these are going to be insane names to search here. Let's start with you, nothing. Let's start with you, nothing. Okay. Let's keep it going. Beatrice Watts. Beatrice Watts. Nothing. Spider search. Nothing. Corin Schwartz. Corin Schwartz comes up in a few articles from local news stations. Some of the people attempting to track down Anonymom were harassing her. Recently had to take a leave of absence because people showed up at the car dealership where she works, begging people to stop the accusations and get back. In every article you find, journalists involved have independently verified she is not Anonymom. Interesting. Interesting. Resides in Pennsylvania, though it appears she lives beyond the Butler County limits. After she was named in a national tabloid, people have come to her place of work, accused her of being Anonymom. Article explains it's impossible for her to be Anonymom because her only child is still in middle school. Unless her son's gestation period was approximately 10 years, doesn't appear like Corinne could have been involved. Okay. I mean, that's great to know. Very good to know. Juliet McCullen. No longer employed. Have we tried you? We may have tried you. I don't remember. Not anymore. Doris Mays, we definitely tried. Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing. Related to hit basketball player Patrick Ewing. Probably not. I think there's a low chance. Although playing in around the same time, so I don't know. I mean, maybe she needed a side gig. NBA wasn't paying as much. I don't think that's true. He played for the Knicks. Okay. Thomas Green, Michael Crane. Michael Crane. Elizabeth Farrow, Jack Keating's no longer here. Emily Seinfeld. What a name. Emily Seinfeld. I wanted to not just search in the Butler County Times. Frick, bro. Frick. Go back. Go back. Lisa Lewis. We gotta search all on some of these. Okay. Because you never know. There could be a random... The thing is, if we're missing a newspaper, it could be a disaster. So, Emily Seinfeld. Sam Cattrall. That's Samantha Roottree, right? I'm pretty sure. We don't need to search her. Susan Ford, hired under a special category that only lasted a year. Okay, well, I mean, that's very, very interesting to me. Nothing? Okay. Special Services Interpreter. Interesting. Very interesting. A lot of travel expenses, man. This is the caviar. We knew about that. Edward Roottree retirement party? Why does that feel like kind of important? I feel like there's not gonna be anything for that. Okay. I don't know. I don't care about any of this. Terry O'Connor. Who are you? I expected to find much more in here. But unfortunately, not much right now. Susan Ford moved to office staff. I think we already searched you, right? Susan Ford, nada. Edward Morrison, Douglas Rosenberg, Corin Schwartz, Beatrice Watts, Linda Lewis, maybe Lisa's daughter. Would be an interesting idea. Linda Lewis. I mean, just freaking nothing. Angela Ingram. Nothing. Angela Ingram. Nothing. Catherine Garrett. You're gonna be the important one. We've had far too many that have been not important. Catherine Garrett. Freaking nothing. Emily Seinfeld. We now have an Emily Barnes. Gwyneth Madsen no longer employed, but a Gwyneth Cattrall now listed? That seems peculiar to me. Oh, never mind. That makes a lot of sense. She married a Cattrall, I think. Emily Barnes. Go back to the evidence board for a second, because Gwyneth Madsen turns into Sam Cattrall. You're Samantha Roottree, even though you go by Samantha Cattrall. Yeah. No, something like that. Wait a minute. Now I'm confused. I'm actually really confused. This said Sam Cattrall's the husband. Yeah. Okay, we're good. I was thinking Sam was a woman. Sam is not a woman in this scenario. Susan Ford no longer works in this department. 1 year under interpreter. Who was deaf? The Grandorf Dove Award? What the hell is this, man? $250,000? What is the hell are these flavors to? Okay, we need to know about this. School for the Deaf. Okay, here you go. Formerly Grandorf Dove, located about an hour from where the Roottrees offices were. Grandorf was the last name of the founder, and Dove is the Danish word for deaf. Founder had issues with government translators, leading to an odd transcription issue. 1990 was renamed to better represent the school's purpose and to correct the embarrassing lack of effort and awareness demonstrated by government officials in the early days. Staff is listed on the website. Scan through all the biographies, find the principal, Ms. Ford, that's Susan Ford, fluent in 5 languages including ASL, been working at the school for 15 years. Her bio mentions she's not deaf, but rather learned sign language to communicate with the deaf. Mentions she was responsible for securing funding for the Hudson Wing. Okay. Hudson Wing was an expansion to Grandorf Dove. Separate, much smaller building, half a block from the main campus, operates as a smaller independent school that offers free ASL courses. Got their name after the president of the Roottrees company generously donated $250,000. Yep. Very vague history section you can somewhat fill in. Mentions the donations came at the insistence of an employee of Roottrees at the time. Mentions she learned ASL from her main school to surprise her future husband who was deaf. After realizing how useful a service like this could be to non-deaf people that wish to better serve those with hearing issues, she convinced Roottrees management to invest in the school. Hudson Wing opened, she became the first teacher at the new campus, only operate on weekends. You definitely had an affair in here. I have so much faith. And there was a future husband in here. So I think you are Susan Ford. You were a professor in your final days. Okay, I wanna look at periodicals here. Grandorf Dove. School for the Deaf, Butler County Times includes what seems like an endless list of snow cancellations, extracurriculars, and weekend events began over 70 years ago. Amongst the avalanche of useless information, you almost miraculously discover one useful article. Grandorf Dove was at the center of a crime article from 1982. Seems that someone defaced the school and vehicles outside of the brand new Hudson Wing. Multiple broken windows, one of the teacher's cars was painted with profanities and accusations of infidelity. A few weeks later, follow-up article provides more details. There was one arrest, Thomas Hughes. Coincidentally, a former student at the school. Apparently, the destruction came weeks after he married the school's newest teacher, Mrs. Hughes. She was not a teacher when he went. He graduated a few years earlier. According to the reporter's investigations into the police reports, trials, and restraining orders, Mr. Hughes was convinced he was not the father of Mrs. Hughes' current pregnancy. Released on bail, school agreed not to press charges. Seems Thomas Hughes, Mrs. Hughes, and the Hudson Wing have all avoided further appearances. So you are definitely Thomas Hughes. Thomas Hughes. And then Susan Hughes is where we want to start getting things going here. But I want to start with this guy. Nothing. I want to then go here. Susan Hughes. Nothing. And I want to search here. Search all, nothing. Okay. I mean, it feels fairly obvious to tell what's going on here, right? There was some hush money given by Guy Hudson here. You name the wing after me, I give the donation. I continue to funnel money to you for childcare. I don't know, something along those lines. And Thomas Hughes, we have nothing in anywhere except for Grandorf Dove. What the hell is this, man? Chinese word for watermelon. Okay. It's good to know, for sure. Not sure that helps me in my current scenario, but that's fine. Any other weird events that happened in here? Travel expenses, caviar, Beth Knox, nothing. Elizabeth Farrow, yeah. Theoretically, there's still an infidelity that happens here. Although, wasn't there somebody that we had searched that I went, oh, she got bun in the oven nonsense? Can I just search bun in oven? Bun in oven? It was Christine Farrow, but it was in the periodical, and it was not Christine Farrow anymore, it's Christine Garland, which was the Antonellis. Yeah, Christine Garland, she and her husband Steve now has a bun in the oven. She and her husband Steve. Yeah. 1978. Yeah. So this is confirmed all over here. I don't have pictures of these people though, which would be really useful to have. What else is going on here? Guy Hudson dies in May of '82. First few months of that year continued along the same pattern. Things changed quickly. Sam Madsen left. Susan Ford no longer employed by Roottree. What a shock. Douglas Rosenberg rehired. Angela Ingram, Linda Lewis, Catherine Garrett no longer employed. From here on out, no secretaries employed. Temp agency, work time temp. Company with many offices, Roottrees company listed on their site. No connection between them and anybody in your search. Just do a quick one here. Figured as much. Victor Logan, Amy Sutton. Nothing. And nothing. Boy, I feel like we've gotten nowhere today, chat. Sugar Plum canceled. Fred Gleason, 50-year work anniversary. $1 million for the Root clothing reimbursement. Carl, you dog. Fred Gleason. And that's the end of the company records, man. Okay. That's a tough one. Beth Knox just seems like she retired, man. I mean, she was, right? This is her 50-year work anniversary. Seems weird she would then be just, like, kicked out, but I don't see there being a realistic reason for... I don't know. I don't see... If she had a 50-year work anniversary, she was clearly, like, 70, give or take. I don't think Guy Hudson probably had a affair with a 70-year-old woman. That just seems unrealistic. I just don't have pictures of any of these people, man. I'd love to lock in some of these people, but... And we still have Anonymom, which... Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the question mark at this point. Is who is Anonymom? That's going to be what the question of this entire thing is going to be, is who is Anonymom? An important thing to figure out. Okay. Bro, I don't have any leads. I don't have any leads, I don't think. At the current moment in time. I feel like I kinda went through it all at this point. Did we do this yet? I have to imagine we did this. Yeah. Those sections got added to our notes. And those were... What were those? That's the 6 pieces here, yeah. One of Sam's farm supervisors, Elizabeth. Elizabeth had a daughter. Oh, God, the Antonellis. Okay, hold on. How did I not search any of this before? I even highlighted it, and then I did nothing with it. Elizabeth had a daughter. Sam's farm supervisor's Elizabeth. Okay, hold on. That would be... I need to look at this again. That's Elizabeth Cravensworth. Okay. That would make sense that she slots in here. So this would be Elizabeth Cravensworth. She was a farmer, right? Nah, I mean, she was probably a secretary. I don't know, was she? Who are you? Elizabeth Cravensworth is a... Oh, wait a minute. Elizabeth Farrow. No, she was an office staff? These are different people. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't getting screwed up with names. But yeah, you were just a office person. You were a... I mean, theoretically, you were kind of a secretary. This is all of Guy Hudson's secretaries in the end. So she's important, huh? Elizabeth Cravensworth. One of Sam's farm supervisors was named Elizabeth. Ah, but she goes by Beth. She goes by Beth. I bet, yeah. Had a daughter who Sam never met, but who worked as one of Guy's secretaries. But why... Okay, we can figure this out. We can figure this out. If she worked as one of... She had a daughter... So this is Elizabeth Cravensworth. We're going to do a quick search on Beth Cravensworth. Nothing. Spider search. Nothing. She ends up with a daughter who is technically a Cravensworth. So this would be in here. Elizabeth Cravensworth has a daughter. That could be Beth Knox. We're missing something. We're missing something. Hold on. Let's read this. 20 years ago, Sam warns most of it is hearsay. Still, you find the following information that may be relevant. One of Sam's farm supervisors was named Elizabeth. Elizabeth had a daughter who Sam never met, but who worked as one of Guy's secretaries. According to Elizabeth, a caterer from a local restaurant called Antonelli's met her daughter at one of Guy's parties. They eloped quickly due to a pregnancy. Yeah, okay. Bribed at least one politician to open a factory in Brazil. It's also important. And then this is the Who's Beth scenario. It's Bess that is the... That's how we figured that out. But this has to be something, man. Elizabeth had a daughter. Farm supervisors. It would make sense in here. Farm and manufacturing. That's Elizabeth Farrow. She has a daughter, which is Christine Farrow. Frick. Yeah, we already know about this. That's the first infidelity. I just realized that if all of this was correct, these would be locked in. Because we have 4 of them. So something is still not right here. I don't think there's a sous chef option in here, for what it's worth. I need them to give me a picture of people at the company, man. I need some random things. Okay, I think that what we're going to do is turn back on intuition for a second. And then do I have nothing? Displays an evidence that indicates if there are more leads to go down. Can I save and quit and then go back in maybe, and that resets it? So I was gonna see if there was maybe some intuition we could use here, because that could be kind of useful. Yeah, okay, here we go. The Piketty missing pages has 8 pieces of info. Oh god, yeah, I didn't even look at it. Okay. Cicely Sanchez. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I still have one in the damn notable events, man. It's probably related to Anonymom, man. God, I got so much still to do. Okay, let's Cicely Sanchez then. We're gonna turn off intuition. We'll go down the line of Cicely Sanchez. I suppose I'm making it like way harder on myself at this point. Let's do some searching on Cicely Sanchez. Cicely Sanchez. I already searched this. What the hell? Okay. Best known for Portrait of a Changed Man. Did I just not search any of this? Boy, you seem really important. Why do I not remember this? That's really not great. Cicely Sanchez, out of print. Yeah, okay. I vaguely remember this. I vaguely remember this, but we ended up finding nothing. Foreign Gospel? Did I just not search this? Foreign Gospel. No, we searched that too. The issue was that we never found anything about the book that she wrote. So did this tell me more that I didn't know? Reveals Roottrees secrets. Cicely Sanchez. Did we look at you in the periodicals? Is that where we didn't do good stuff? Cicely Sanchez. Ruby Spratt versus Cicely Sanchez. Did we look at this? Talking Toy Fish. Canceled book. Book subject was Guy Hudson. Said to contain pictures of Cicely did not have rights to publish. Boy, if we get that book, brother, we are set. Ruby Spratt. Cicely didn't have the rights to redistribute the photos in the magazine. Announced they would be pulling their issue the following day the moment Ruby Legal Enterprises threatened them. Caused the issue to sell faster than any other magazine, though only for a day. I need that magazine, brother. I need it more than anything on this earth. Ruby Spratt. Yeah, and then this is what led down. I remember this now. Ruby Legal Enterprises... Mideastern University. Private university midway between Maine and Miami. Mascot is the Spectres, though not known for their sports programs. Extensive computer science. Calling their newspaper the Herald. Okay. Yeah. That seems good. That seems good. Ruby Spratt seems like a good name to search in there. Did I ever... I just missed that. Hometown of Portland. She may be in the damn Portland Times, man. I guess probably not. But she's definitely in the header world. Graduated top of her class from Mid-Eastern's legal college. Valedictorian speech somewhat controversial at the time, and it was quite serious with a heavy focus on wealth inequality added to the list. Didn't go over well with the predominantly middle to upper class. Editor of the header world at the time said Ruby, unsatisfied by simply earning her place at Mid-Eastern with a full scholarship, went on to earn a captive audience of her peers with a perfect GPA. Felt like the ideal occasion for a celebration of an undoubtedly incredible individual. However, by the end of her speech, there were many in the audience that wished neither of those events had transpired. So she was kind of based. Who else is in this? Guy Hudson? Nothing. Cicely Sanchez? Nothing. What was the point of the header world, man? Why give me this newspaper? There's no way it's for nothing. Valedictorian speech? Nothing. Valedictorian. Header world, Mid-Eastern University. Okay. Ruby Spratt, perfect GPA. Editor of the header world. News Time, Ruby Spratt and Piketty Magazine, Ruby Legal Enterprises. We've searched just like Guy Hudson in all of these. The deaths of Guy and Patricia. Controversial president, foul play not expected. Business Watch, twin sister, Angie and Christopher. Yeah. What is boys and girls? Boys and girls agree. It's an ad. I guess we did this last time. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Boys and girls agree era. Sorry. Yep. Not very helpful. Not very helpful. This really, I mean, we have to get this book. They're gonna give us this book and it's gonna fill in all of our stuff. But I don't know where to go from here. Okay. Well, I mean, gamers, I think it's a good place to stop. I know that we accomplished, I mean, I don't know, nothing today. Kind of accomplished nothing today, now that I think about it. If I ever get that book, a guy is screwed. But I have a sneaking suspicion I need 8 more people before I lock that book in. I think I have to figure this out. And I just don't even know where to think about doing that. If this is John Doe, this is probably not a mom. I don't know, probably not. They probably wouldn't do the Jane Doe, John Doe right here. I think that's probably just this dude's not important. Or he's very important. I don't know. I got no clue. I still feel like we should have been able to lock in these 4, but something is off. How about, did we ever search James Garland and Robert Garland? James Garland. Nothing. Robert Garland. Nothing. Periodicals. Robert Garland is Friday. Steve Garland was Butler County Times. James Garland is Friday. Samosa Cone really did not matter. Friday just led us to the people here. Random sites related to Boston. Just not what I need, man. It's just not what I need. Okay, this is also probably not a thing here. We're missing something. We figure it out another time. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, as always, liking the video, much appreciated. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.